Our guests are in studio, but because they are part of sport like we are, we did not want to group them in one place, so they sat distant. So the twagala be copy. We don't want them to copy answers from each other. We are going to be discussing the opportunities and challenges of the Uganda Premier League, largely in a commercial sense. What has the commercial department of the UPL done to raise its value, and what is the communications department and events management at UPL doing to help the league grow? Because that's where most of the questions normally start. Before we talk about the clubs, what about the custodian? What is the custodian doing? We have Jenkins Matovu, seated very distant from me. Right there is the commercial director of the Uganda Premier League. Good evening and welcome to NTV Sport Nights.
Good evening. Thank you for having the Uganda Premier League custodians.
Yeah, thank you. And then right next to me is a gentleman whose family I've known for the last 30 years.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Gordon Roy Monday from Umbali. The communication, safety, events. Good evening.
I've always wondered how.
Good evening, Good evening, Clive. Good evening, Daniel. Thank you for having me.
Because I was reading through your title and I saw I need to just be certain.
Yes.
Yeah, because head of communications,
yes,
safety, security,
yes,
and services.
Yes.
What do you do for the Uganda Premier League? Let's start there.
Good question. I'm head of communications. The Uganda Premier League Secretariat. That is close to what Clive does and what you do for a living. The safety and security part, safety and security, and now services, which has been added, is one of its own. And at the league, we are growing it to be as solid and independent as the work dictates we do. So, safety and security is basically stadium security.
Okay.
Services is where you have we have adopted what we have called the integrated system, where we are fusing safety, security, and services, because when we dive into stewards, the objective being taking guns out of the stadium, the stewards provide a service which is closer to as customer service as it is.
Okay.
So you need to fuse those three together.
Maybe still to
get the integrated approach.
Yeah, I wanted Clive to hold his gun, yeah, because we have.
Out of the way.
Yeah, I need to hold your gun. Matovu.
Yep.
Commercial manager.
Chief Commercial Officer.
Chief Commercial Officer of the Uganda Premier League.
Yes.
The first thing when you think about commercial is money.
Definitely.
Today, how much is the Uganda Premier League worth?
The Uganda Premier League now is worth. We have different valuations. We have the media valuations. We have the on-stadium valuations. It depends on if you mean sponsorship valuation. Yeah, they all differ. But for media valuations, we are expecting a report from Ipsos, I think next week, to give you a very standard figure for the media valuation of the Uganda Premier League. For the sponsorship valuation, the Uganda Premier League is worth over $5 million. That is the worth. You could ask what is being sponsored right now, but I'm speaking of the worth. And by
this includes the sponsorships that the clubs are able to bring in.
And the rights, because you know the Uganda Premier League and the clubs, we are rights holders. Yeah. So when you ask the worth, I tell you the worth of all the rights I have, as in the properties. Yeah. Now, whether some are taken or not is a different scenario. But the worth is that...
anyway, around 5 million. What properties I talk about that you're selling as UPL?
The properties, we have official partners, official banking partner, official fuel partner, official telco partner, all those, the entire ecosystem of what you'd expect a league to be functioning around. Official betting partner, you know, official kit sponsor and all that. Yeah. They're all on sale.
And you know, I think all of you have seen this gentleman, Matovu, in the recent few weeks. You've been traveling around the world. I think you were in Kigali the other day.
Yep.
You were meeting people from the English Premier League and other leagues across the region.
Yeah.
What was the intention of that meeting? What was Uganda supposed to benefit from something like that?
First of all, you know, when you mention commercial, positioning comes into play, right? So one of the intentions was to position the league amongst the other leagues that are bigger than it, first of all, but also to do some benchmarking in as far as sponsorships and right holders, like how they manage their rights. Because, for example, with the discussions you'll be having, you'll find that in some instances, some leagues have a different business secretariat and a different sports secretariat, right? In other instances, you'll find that the secretariat handles all the leagues, like EPL, the next league, and the next league. So the intention of these visits was to pick insights from these people and then place it into what works with us, as in our markets, on field and off field.
Clive, you're burning to get Gordon off his seat.
Yeah, I just wanted him to elaborate more. His 3 titles, how do they all complement each other?
Right, Clive, they are not 3.
There are 4.
There are 2.
No, safety and security is
safety,
one.
security,
Okay.
communication.
Communication
How do
and
they
services.
I'm head of communications. Safety and security and services, which is the last one that has been added from the last module we did recently at Nambole, is integrated. So it's now safety, security, and
services.
Okay, so that is
So there are
one.
2. It's one thing.
So how do they complement each other?
Right. We've all seen how bad a scenario can be if a match goes wrong in terms of crowd management. From the stories and the most recent benchmarks from Cote d'Ivoire, the lessons that were learned from that AFCON was the reason why we had the most recent stadium initiative training, which had the head of safety and security, Dr. Emarua himself, come from Egypt to do part of the training, and the lady from FUFA as well.
Because what Clive's question is how this feeds into communication.
I'm getting there. Therefore, it is important for me to preach the gospel of the league and how it's doing well in terms of what we are sending out, social media, website and all, but also be able to say the good things about the progress we're making in terms of crowd management, events management, steward trainings, and safety and security.
But that's not you, that's FUFA.
Yeah, not really.
That's FUFA doing the trainings, not UPL.
Yes, FUFA does the trainings, but where I sit now as an instructor, I also do the trainings as well.
Good, an instructor.
Yes, I am.
Well, Gordon, speaking of
speaking of
that bracket of safety, security, and services,
But please continue.
That bracket of safety, security, and services. I want to know, first of all, is Uganda Premier League independent of FUFA as far as safety and security at stadiums is concerned? Because we have seen scenarios, you have talked of Ivory Coast, but that's very far. Coming back here at home, we have seen instances that have been horrible. Referees being attacked, fans taking matters in their own hands, attacking players even. How has Uganda Premier League helped? Because usually I see FUFA coming in with these sanctions, and somehow Uganda Premier League takes the back seat. So I want to know, how does Uganda Premier League, throw in this safety of people at stadiums and.
I'll say this. Safety and security is part of the bigger club licensing project. And the club licensing project demands that certain things must be done around stadiums. Not just the stadiums that the country uses for AFCON, but the stadiums that the leagues play in. The clubs, as they stand now, 16 of them, are potential representatives at any CAF Confederation or CAF competition. Now, people in the north, people in the south have come to Uganda and played in good stadiums, in the stadiums that they played in. We've gone to Morocco and played in world-class stadiums. and they're asking the questions. You come and play good stadiums, we come and play new stadiums, and there's a difference. Now, CAF decided, therefore, cascading from FIFA to CAF, that there should be a minimum standard, okay, of what a stadium should look like, either for a national game or for a national game. International meaning AFCON, and no more games. Now, charity begins at home. You can't have a league that is doing its own things and then expect that you will take that to the top. Therefore, the CAF rules and regulations on certain security have been provided for us to adopt because, as I said, the clubs that are in the league now are potential representatives at CAF. Therefore, they must follow the same standards.
Not all of them. I mean,
Not all of them,
you
but
can't be
okay.
UPDF playing at the military barracks in Bomba and your potential representative of the club.
That is one way to look at it. But I also don't want Gordon to deviate from Daniel's question. The question was about independence.
Now,
and it has always been an elephant in the room in regard to Uganda.
Yes.
And what I understand in most of the leagues, what league managers like you do mainly manage the commercial rights. Yeah, the ones that you're going to talk about a lot more because I have questions here for you from some of our viewers. Then the custodians like the FA, like FIFA manages the rules. So you cannot have a league where you have 12 people on a pitch and the penalty is awarded for handball at the center line because you manage a league. That's the value of FA. And then even the sanctions she was asking about, I've seen in other places where sanctions are only valid if given by the FA. But because a Uganda Premier League on its own is a manager of the league on behalf of the owners.
So
but I'm sure
Daniel,
everywhere in the world.
I'm sure, Daniel, you know that the Uganda Premier League has things takes care of.
Yeah.
There are preserves of FIFA that we don't do. We don't do the judiciary, where we are citing the cases.
Yeah.
We don't do refereeing. We don't do rules and regulations. We manage the league. Therefore, what we do, if there are troubles like we had in Bombo, where the referee was beaten, is that petitions are written. When a petition is written, it comes to the league manager or the CEO, and we ask for the evidence and we send it to the CDP, okay, for management, because that's not our preserve. Yeah. So we ensure that things are done and liaise those two. Now, being independent is relative.
I want to go back to Matovu, seated there. Do you feel independent? Can the Uganda Premier League, you wake up in the morning, your job is to bring money in the league. Yeah, that's your primary job, commercial manager. Look at the X's or look at the numbers. Do you feel independent enough to wake up tomorrow, Matovu, I'm going to NTV, I want to sell this to them, to run a highlight show, for example, of the league every week for 30 minutes. Do you feel that independence? So is there an overstep by the federation?
There's 100% independence as far as commercial is concerned. And yes, and that explains the first question you asked of the engagements I've been having. I've been having them on behalf of the Uganda Premier League, representing every detail of the Uganda Premier League, representing the 16 clubs and the secretariat. So the independence is there, definitely.
So when you come back, do you give a report to the clubs? Do the clubs understand what you're doing for them? Because it's very possible when we walk out of... Clive can even text a CEO when we're on the show and ask him what Matovu and the commercial guys at UPL are doing for them.
I mean, the CEO are already texting.
Yeah, they're saying, what does the UPL do?
For clarity, let me give you an example. I was in Cairo for the World Leagues Association. Now, if I go for the World Leagues Association...
Is our league ranked now? Previously, it wasn't.
I was there as an observer. We're not yet members.
Okay, yeah, because I know it wasn't ranked.
But just, of course, I went there because you don't just go there, definitely.
Yeah, you are invited to go and see how they do things.
Exactly. But when you mention me reporting to the club CEOs, I inform the club people of the positions that have been taken or the meetings I've had. But if I've gone for the World Leagues Association, this is a discussion amongst leagues. There's also the club association, the African Club Association, the arrangements for the clubs. So if I've gone, because these 16 clubs give the mandate to the EPL Secretariat to run the commercial arm, right? So when they let you run the commercial arm, they expect you to position the entire league where it can make commercial sense, both locally and globally, right? So they are aware of those engagements.
Some of our viewers, before Clive comes in, Josh Omwagizi, very dedicated viewer, thank you Josh, says the question about UPS valuation has not been answered. How is the commercial manager working with FUFA to improve the visibility of the league, especially in the media? The video quality and the number of matches needs improvement. Then he goes on to say, you'll respond to this at the same time that on the video and all. Then he also goes on to say, what is the role of a commercial manager if Arua Hill got 500,000 shillings for finishing bottom of the league?
Now I think what I'm going to first do is to describe,
because we are going to talk about prize money at some point.
I'm going to first describe my job description for clarity.
Yes, please.
For clarity. Now, let me first introduce myself very well. My name is Matovu Jovin Jenkins. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer of the Uganda Premier League. My role is to enhance the financial and commercial arm of the entire league.
True.
Right? When I'm going to a boardroom, I represent the Uganda Premier League. Okay? Now,
so if you have prize money, that's
why I'm first giving you my JD very well. Now with that, you'll see where you get some questions from that. Now, my role is to make sure that the league is commercially independent or sustainable, to say. Sustainable is the right term. Is commercially sustainable. How? Through sponsorships, through partnerships, enhancing player welfare through partnerships with bigger leagues, like you mentioned that Chelsea transfer of the under 21, and you closed that statement with, of course, meaning there were easier channels for those transfers. So creating these partnerships and meetings, if I've met Clive today and he's with La Liga, I can open a discussion with him on how we can have our players, even maybe the young ones, or an academy in the La Liga, or even just visiting, and those opportunities there. So my role is strictly to enhance the commercial arm of the league.
Okay, in your first submission, you told us that the value of the Uganda Premier League
is $5 million.
The Uganda Premier League is worth $5 million US. But if you're to estimate at the moment, how much is the Uganda Premier League?
Is it being, how much of the 5 million is being utilized?
Is bought? You mean it's bought yet?
It's bought,
It's bought yet. I would want to give you a very good figure.
No. Estimate. Don't worry about.
By estimation, it could be around 2 million.
2 million what? US dollars?
Yes. 2 million US dollars. And
break down.
Why are you in doubt, Clive?
Let me explain.
Why are you in doubt?
Let me explain to you very well. I told you my role, right?
We understood.
Yes, you understood that very well. Purely money. Okay. Which is what you're asking.
You actually look money.
Now, look at it this way. When we speak of value and worth, if you say as of now, you mean how much money is getting through the league. Right? Now, how does money get through the league? We shall start by that. Ticket sales, okay? You agree with that? Player transfers, partnerships, sponsorships, and others, okay? If we start with ticket sales, we can agree on a number of ticket sales throughout the entire season. Put a valuation on that and let it rest. We get to sponsorships, we look at the one that we have and what the clubs have, put it on rest. Then also consider the sponsorships, so the transfers that are being had across. So I would, if you would disagree, you could also get which figure you have. But as far as I know, right now, yes?
No, continue.
Right now, $2 million US is what is being utilized.
I need to share a story. Our colleague Andrew Mwangusha did a story for the Daily Monitor, I think last year, because I'm his editor. I assigned him a story, and he went to break down the value of his clubs. Our colleagues in the design days did some very good graphics.
This year.
Earlier this year, because the year has been long. So he broke down, and okay, you could find clubs with that kind of value. Some of which, okay, because the story wanted to understand how Ugandan football clubs are run.
Okay.
Where do they get their money? And of course, there are those the KCCAs that have a bit of money from the City Hall,
yes.
and then the value of the others, the Chint, the Britams, and all.
Yes.
Then you have Bull, who are entirely dependent on the company, because once they have 14 boot on their jersey, they do not need to find any other company there.
Oh, yeah.
Then there is Vipers, who have funding from their patron and president, Lawrence Mulindwa. Then they have Hima Cement, Plascon,
yes.
and DFCU, and I think a bank.
Okay.
Then you go on, there are those that entirely, UPDF,
Yes.
or NEC.
Yes.
What I remember that Andrew found, there are many clubs without any sponsorship stream.
Yes.
And those are the most.
The most
Yes.
of them.
Yes.
Because even if we just went through the show and you just open the league table, we all know which ones have sponsorship.
Yeah.
Top
That's
ones.
it.
And those same clubs cannot validate with data how much money probably, rather for instance, they made in a season through gate collections.
Yeah. Because I remember when we asked them, when Andrew asked them, because some of them did not have the action, I think only KCCA had the numbers of how much they had made. Yeah.
They always do.
Even Chitara,
But so
sometimes
we
they
told them
collect
to
now.
estimate, yeah, and they gave us estimations using averages. This, you know, for example, Chitara, recently they've been putting their figures on social media after game. So they make a 33 million, they make an 11, there is 17, there is a 50. So what we do the mean, yeah, where there are 15 home games. So you put those together, and then in the end you find they make maybe 14 million shillings per match. But there are not many others.
Because the others
Would Wakis or no?
I'll give you an example. Somebody gave me an interesting stat. I'm still investigating, but it's an interesting stat. Last season, Express Football Club failed to sell 150 jerseys to their fans. Mukwano Gwabanji failed to sell
150.
What
and these are some of the avenues that
should
clubs are supposed to use to make money.
Make money.
And that is where I come in, because I joined this year.
8 months into the job.
That is where
Shouldn't you spend all your time helping these clubs? More than what you do
so
at
that
the
you move
UP.
at the same wavelength.
Yeah. But don't you go down and sit with these clubs and tell them this is what you're doing, this is what you should be doing?
Let me tell you, we have you didn't let me to give you the entire manifesto of what we are doing and what we are planning to do, right?
Yeah.
But for the clubs, I'll tell you, without fear of contradiction, we have arrangements, first of all, with the club market in charge.
How many of them have people in charge of marketing?
Only 3 don't have.
Out of the 16?
Yes. We are in good touch with them, still with their comms team. We've gone ahead to arrange with our media partner Saladin. We are arranging workshops specifically on club level. But in the interest of this show, I would want to give clarity on what is there. As you mentioned when you're opening the show.
Please do.
The opportunities available. I think that is what we should do.
I think we all understand the challenges.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that we've gone on for long. Now let's get to the opportunities.
Perfect. Now, maybe just some clarity on the valuation that you are doubting. On NTV here, I don't know how much it is for 10 minutes, an advert. Roughly.
15 million.
15 million. A game is 1 hour and a half. Right? We have 240
1
games.
hour, 50 minutes.
Okay. We have 240 games in the Uganda Premier League.
Yeah.
Maximum 1 hour, no extra time. Meaning we have 21,000 minutes of visibility.
Yeah.
Now, if you evaluate that using the lowest charging media house that charges maybe like 100,000 per 10 minutes, how much money is that? In as far as, if you're speaking,
100,000 by 21,000 minutes, yeah?
Yes.
Is that 21 billion?
Yes.
Or 2.1 billion?
So, if you speak of worth, the worth is there, the value is actually there. It being fully utilized is a different story, which is what we are doing now, like engaging people of your stature, right? We are engaging media houses, media partnerships with top media houses to intentionally be pushing the league, the matches, and the clubs. We are doing benchmarking meetings. With
Please use CK Sports, though there's a bit of bias. There is largely KCCA content.
But you could go. So there's been a lot of Chitara and Express in the last 5 days.
And we rarely do speak of Villa.
So the Uganda Premier League right now is taking off commercially, as I said, what I represent. Is taking off commercially because we are taking all steps, including all the stakeholders, the media, the fans, the clubs, the sponsors, the partners, all that we think are supposed to be helping us and guiding. So I am very confident that...
Maybe one of my advice is that when you talk about opportunities, there's a stage we are taken off, even with all the challenges of television.
Yeah.
I think we had a lot of games last season, as many as 160. If I remember the figures.
Yeah.
170.
170 last season.
Yes.
And I read that report and took a bit of time to understand. And there's even one that the former president, Moses Magogo, shared of minutes played per player. What, of course, Isaac Isinde had shockingly played the most minutes in the league for Musoga who eventually got relegated. And that was a bit technical to understand the level that where our players are.
Yes.
Now, I need you guys to dig into that report. There were some very good things. Now, this year, we have a lot less television. Yeah? For example...
Yet we still have two broadcasters.
Two broadcasters. Remember, recently, those who are in Wankulukuku claim Patrick Kakande scored one of the best goals in the league.
I was there, actually.
And
You
Clive
talked
was.
about
Yeah.
it, yeah.
Potential Puskas
nomination.
But it wasn't
Goes
televised.
round people, wasn't televised.
Yes.
We've taken a step back.
On that day, TV was at Kacheka, broadcasting Bari Heroes and Barasi.
We go back to the opportunities.
And also, before you go, I also, in the same sense, you also can explain to us how you are ensuring visibility of the league. For example, if there is limited coverage, how are you ensuring visibility of the brand?
For example, I'm a sports editor.
Yes.
Or in this company, Nation Media Group.
Yes.
I've not received a call from you.
Yes, you haven't.
We have Daily Monitor running the Uganda Premier League on the back page at least 3 times a week.
That is very interesting. But I'd also tell you, I'd also tell you that on Friday, I was speaking to your head of marketing for Nation Media Group, speaking of...
Samuel Barata?
That is your commercial.
Okay, commercial manager?
That's Hajara.
Hajara, okay.
I was speaking to her for having NMG as part of our official partners.
Okay.
So we engage in the media houses.
Maybe on club level, how many clubs have you met to make sure that actually you saw
they understand these things
you're trying to do and they try to understand it? Because it will start with the 16 members of the Uganda Premier League before you probably are spread out.
How many clubs have I met?
Yeah.
I've met all the clubs.
All the 16?
Yes. That is how I've said. That's why I have a forum of all the 16 market in charge, right?
And do they understand what you're preaching?
They do understand, but it's a step by step. I want us to appreciate.
Or is it preaching water and drinking wine?
No.
Because then they wouldn't understand.
No. It is because at the end of the day, in as much as we push the UPL with all the media and all that, the UPL is made up of the clubs. So we definitely do engage the clubs.
You break down. I would like for him to clarify on the breakdown of how you are going to ensure the visibility. Of course, you have gone to the media houses. Yes. How else are you doing that?
How we are doing that, first of all, we have the media partnerships where we are intending to speak to the likes of the national media, the next media houses of this world, the vision groups and other media houses to intentionally push the league, not the sport beat, the editorial, because there's the editorial, right? But to this person who is not following or who used to follow and stopped, so creating or writing the story of clubs like, for example, Lugazi FC, clubs like Mbale Heroes, that story.
I'm sorry to cut you short with the question as you continue, which is a very good initiative, by the way. Don't you think that should be starting with the communications department of the Uganda Premier League before you actually try to go to all these different media houses? Because also that department is also greatly lacking.
That is why I am telling you that we have had those forums.
No, I mean your own department, the Uganda Premier League Communications Department.
Yes.
Don't you think that would be a good starting point before you actually go to these different media houses.
Clive, the communications person is here.
Well, no, it's okay. It's okay.
He should be selling that dream to the communications person first before he actually sells it to the media.
Before you talk to the media houses.
You're using the assumption that we haven't had that.
No,
I'm asking.
But for clarity, let me tell you something very interesting. As I told you, in as much as you push the UPL to the top brand awareness, top of mind awareness, it is made up of the clubs. And she asked a very good question.
Yeah.
How are we handling the engagement with the clubs in as far as this entire ecosystem is concerned?
Yeah.
Let me finish. The UPL comms team is doing a very good job. You can't say they're not doing anything.
I didn't say they're not doing
UPL is doing a very good job.
But saying they are doing a very good job is you protecting your job.
Matovu, you know what he's saying? I know you're a family person.
Let me come in here.
When you want to be a good father,
yes,
you don't tell people you're a good father. Sell the idea of being a good father to your children.
Exactly.
When your children accept that you're a good father, it's very easy to tell all the other people.
I would, as a professional marketing and sales guy, I would agree with you to say there is more to do.
True. Yeah. Always.
There's
a lot to do.
There is more to do. More and a lot are more or less the same. But also, more has been done. A lot has been done. That is why we said that instead of coming here to convince Clive that this is the value, we told Ipsos, do a report. Ipsos is authentic.
Yeah.
And they're going to release that report. I understand even NTV, you use Ipsos to rank here as the top station. So Ipsos is going to give us that report. And then it will tell us.
It will be public?
Oh, yes, absolutely. We shall come here.
I want to take a break because I want Gordon to come in.
That, ladies and gentlemen, according to Ipsos, this is how it has valued us.
Gordon.
Yes.
Communications. We were at tabu.
Tawali tabu. Tawali tabu. I'll say this. Dakawa and
Clive and Daniel.
You know where we have come from. You know where this league was when Azam was here.
Let's go back to the days of super sport.
Opportunities, guys.
I got in here from England at Azam level. You know what was happening. We didn't have a website doing anything. We didn't have social media. We didn't have graphics. We didn't have anything. We sat down and did the strategy.
Where do we go?
That strategy is taking us from where we were to where we are now and where we're going. Look at the handle. Tell me what you read in terms of followers. 94.
Uganda Premier League.
Go to Facebook. 94.
Isn't Facebook banned?
No, it is not.
Okay.
It is.
Go to the website. Look at, I have,
our government
more than
banned
10,000 hits on my website alone.
That's a daily, weekly, monthly?
Weekly.
That's very good.
Daily. On a match day, for example, the match we had where there were 7 goals.
Clive, please open and let's have his numbers. Please, hits. I can't find it readily.
Let me start with X.
On the website.
On the
alone.
X, yeah.
We have a strategy where we have gone deep into social media. We have gone into the digital media itself.
Okay, the UPL has
we have
94.6k followers. So that's on X.
94.
There's a lot more to do.
The last post is 2 hours ago. A Christmas message from the board chairman of the UPL. Then earlier was a post by Jenkins, about the show.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, there hasn't been
Daniel,
football today.
The strategy is telling us, is guiding us where we want to be. Where we want to be is that we want to be at a level where nobody takes a newspaper, goes to TV, go social media, and they don't see football.
That's already happening.
It never used to happen.
No, it used to happen.
No, it never used to.
It
has always happened.
Not at this rate.
It has always happened, Gordon. Okay? We're just living in a digital era, but it has always happened.
The stories written on the website alone, the events happening on the website alone, at the secretariat, the level of football being played, the professionals being employed, the quality of what clubs are producing in terms of graphics, visuals, in terms of their social handles. It's a job that has come from down up, cascading to the bottom.
We will not have all the time, but this is something that interests and gets my juices going. Uganda Premier League and our positioning is something that I would discuss and have probably weeks of the show. We don't have that luxury. But Gordon, there's something that we always have to respond to.
Yes.
The scheduling.
Right. I'll say this.
Games are moved. Games are played at very inconveniencing hours.
Let me say this.
On a Wednesday at 4 p.m.
No, let me say this.
How do we deal with the scheduling?
As we speak now,
Okay, who's in charge?
we've had
Who's in charge of the
We've
scheduling?
had meetings.
Gordon, who's in charge of the scheduling?
We've had. Let me go answer Dakaba's.
The other one is very easy.
We've
you can
had-
say UPL or FUFA, then we got
We've
the
had. We know that the rights to the broadcasting are with Star Times DTV.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, if you glanced at the contract, you know they took most of the rights. Okay, Star Times is here to make money. For example, their biggest market is Hoima Masindi.
Yeah.
You would rather show a game in Hoima Masindi than show a game in Kampala because they make more money in Masindi.
True.
They are in to do business. We are saying as the league, we want the league on TV. Okay? We sit down in meetings, league manager, me, CEO, the board members, and they tell us this is what we want in terms of numbers of the matches to be broadcast.
Does
The
that
sponsor says, yes, I will do this, I will do this, I will do this. The scheduling, as we speak now, there's a broadcasting house that is doing most of the work now, which is FUFA.
FUFA TV?
FUFA TV.
Most of the work. All the work.
Right now, all the work. Season ago, we had
It's okay.
we had the other guys doing it as well.
Yeah. We had Sanyoka Prime doing it.
Sanyoka Prime.
Yeah.
Okay. But to make it clearer, the scheduling is a business idea. It is to make money.
Which is, which is
For us at the league, we are happy with the games being broadcast. Now, if there's a fixture adjustment,
this is the issue. Just to elaborate more on Isma's on Isma's question, and you answered.
It will be your last.
I mean, if
Your last question.
if Villa is playing KCCA,
yes,
if Express is playing KCCA, if Vipers is playing Villa, the question is, why is that game played on a Wednesday? Why is that game played on a Tuesday? Why isn't that game? Because we
Played on a Friday evening.
We agree that, bro, those are the biggest games in the league. We have about 6 or 7 fixtures.
I would say
why
this.
can't we have those fixtures played on a weekend?
good. I will say this. Number one, the fixture that is made with a calendar.
Yeah.
Okay?
In mind with the
That
FIFA
calendar
Cup
is not
and
just-
FIFA calendar.
But Isma, that is not Gordon's question.
It is not just, the calendar is not just Uganda Premier League.
Yeah.
It has got the other FIFA competitions. It's got
CAF and
Uganda
FIFA.
Cup, it's got CAF.
Yeah.
So
We must
in
for
other
a
words, that makes
calendar-
sense the league to be on all
because-
those
let me
Wednesdays.
finish. As a commercial person,
We
Gordon.
must, let me finish.
Yeah.
We follow a calendar that has been drawn and managed over time.
Gordon, you don't answer
Therefore,
the question.
the games that are being played at certain times can be adjustable.
And now,
But as it is now,
From a commercial point of
from
view,
a commercial point of view,
why are
aren't
we
you
having
being
our
let
big fixture?
down?
Let's
Aren't you being let down by the scheduling that time?
I am very, very proud of
And
the
who's in charge of
experience
the
you guys
scheduling?
have in following the Uganda Premier League.
Yes.
I know.
I have, it's 30 years. Mine is 30 years.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And that is why I'm going to make this statement. I want us to all agree that, for example, last season, we had more evening and, weekend
Yes, we
games
did.
than the previous season.
Yeah. Thankfully, KCC and
Than
Vipers.
the preceding season before that.
Yeah.
Right? What does that mean? That means that we know that it is best to have all the games, let's on Friday evening.
Friday
or
and Saturday.
But let's also be honest, you guys. There are some games, if we have 240 games, right? How many weekends do you need to play 240 games without inconveniencing another club's audience?
Let me give Jenkins here some information, and I think Gordon is also
I want this gentleman to go home.
Gordon is also not privy to it. When the Uganda Premier League got into the phase of professionalization, we still had 16 clubs.
Yes.
The league was strictly and exclusively played on Tuesday and
Wednesday.
Friday.
Yeah.
yes,
And the league would end on time.
Yeah.
Today, you have fixtures littered all over the place. And actually,
from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Then we even had less venues.
Yeah.
Today we have more venues. And you have the fixture littered, you have games littered all over the week.
One of
the league struggles to...
You have English Premier League games being played on Tuesday.
The most important thing.
We've had games in the English Premier League being played on Tuesday.
At 10 p.m., not at 4 p.m.
Me have got what he has mentioned.
Yeah.
The league was being played on Tuesdays and Fridays. It was being done.
Yeah.
I want to refer you back, and that's the beauty of me going to Cairo. One of the reasons and the issues that was being raised by the entire World League Association, even the EPL and the league and all of them, was the calendar issue, right? For example,
now FIFA even wants more dates out of the calendar.
Exactly, you get my point.
Yeah.
Was the calendar issue of I have to give you a break, right? Which has to put my league on what?
On hold.
On hold.
Right now, Chan is holding.
And that was an issue of all the leagues. All the leagues. It was an issue of all the leagues.
Yeah.
The calendar issue. Isn't the calendar issue there?
I think we are just mismanaging our
time.
Is the calendar issue there or
the
not?
reason, the point I raised, the time I'm talking about, we had less than 6 venues hosting Uganda Premier League games.
Okay, then also, Clive, maybe you've got to help the viewers understand.
Today we have more than 10 venues hosting Uganda Premier League games.
But Clive is not helping you because he's withholding information. We had a broadcaster in SuperSport who were doing some games at Nambole. Double headers where they would bring in teams that forfeit their hosting rights. To play their home games. And I think Maroons were some of the beneficiaries to get most of their games. When they get them out of Luzira, they play at Nambole.
So all TV games were at
Nambole. And they would get those double headers. Is this something that we are doing them at Nachivubo currently? It hasn't been possible for Lugogo and Chitende.
Dakaba, double headers are not just a Premier League rule that we set. The clubs must agree.
Sure.
The home teams must agree.
They agreed for the Nambole testing event.
If they don't agree, then what happens?
You see, we have
the league manager has been engaging.
We have intentionally refused to build on the opportunities. But among those opportunities are the double headers that I was going to mention for you.
Cases and URL tried, rather Express and URL tried it out at Nachivubo.
Because what our viewer wants to know is what we have in stock for them. That's what I'm expecting. For the ones
and that's going to be, since you've set your own question, this is going to be the last one.
Are expecting to hear what we are planning for them. Those who haven't been watching the Uganda Premier League.
And also make them
for our viewers, and I want the camera shot to focus on Matovu, he's going to tell us what the Uganda Premier League is planning in the next year or in the next period.
And how to make the people love the league.
Love more.
Yes, more.
Yes. So, as the Uganda Premier League, we are intentionally enhancing the experience of the fan. That is number one. For the fans to come for a game, love it, and actually enjoy before, during, and after the game.
Sure.
We are also taking the game back to the boardroom because we all agree. I mean, even if you look at the national games, the ordinary beat is always full. We have the fans in the games, but a number of people still have a different image of the Uganda Premier League, right? That is what we are trying to now enhance, to tell them, guys, look here, this is what is happening now. We have very beautiful stadiums, the Vipers, the KCCA, Philip Omondi Stadium, and all that. We are making that very clear by using the media. We are also making it known to the fans that we are intentionally building our players, because you know the league is an entire ecosystem. For us to have entertaining football, for example, we need to have very good players. We need every team to have Kakande. Yes. Now, for every team to have a Kakande, they must have the capacity, because there might be a Kakande, but when the club can't afford that Kakande, right? So we are ensuring that the player welfare grows. The club welfare and financial muscle is enhanced, and the fans can afford to come and watch a game. Now, affordability of the Uganda Premier League game, the fund doesn't only spend on the ticket sale. They spend from the time they leave their home. But we want to make sure that that whole process, experience is beautiful for them. We want children to come back and watch those games. Family days, you know. So we have engaged different stakeholders, we have engaged different partners, and we are very sure that next round,
don't promise.
Yes.
No, I'm not promising.
It is not happening.
I have said, and I am very sure.
Jenkins.
And I am no. And I am very sure that for those who haven't gotten the opportunity to watch a Uganda Premier League game, you should take the chance now.
Gordon.
Yes.
Your final word. Clive thinks communication should do
More.
100 times better.
There's a lot to do. Yes. There's more to do. Yes. The strategy is clear on that, and we're getting there.
Thank you. We've had Jenkins
I didn't do
Matovu.
my final. I thought I didn't.
Hey, okay, your final word.
I didn't know it was the final. Definitely, my closing remarks, I want to speak to all organizations and brands that the most reliable visibility vehicle right now
Is sport.
locally and globally is sport.
Yeah.
Now, the top sport in this country is football.
Yeah.
Now, the top football competition in this country is the Uganda Premier League. I thank you.
Over the weekend, Express were taken to the cleaners, conceded 7 at Chitara, and KCC and Villa drew 1-1, while there was a 4-goal drubbing of Umbale Heroes by Vipers. The goals from Alan Okello and Milton Karisa. We are going to take a break, and when we get back, we are going to delve into that visit of someone who these days I find to be a very good politician. Says the right things in the right moment. The CAF president. We'll be right back.